Recording. Welcome back. This is the Alchemist Nation podcast. My name is Walter Morello, and on this podcast, we get to jump around all across the country, learning from real estate investors who are looking to give back. Today, I've got Gita Faust with us. Gita is an entrepreneur as well as an author and real estate investor. Gita, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And I'm so excited to be here to share little tidbits, and how others investors can get motivated and get accountable as well.
I like it. Gita, so we were just talking about the smiley face behind your wall there. That came from a family member. You want to tell the story? I thought that was really cool.
So I'm originally from India, and when my sister comes and visits, my sister says, "What do you want?" All right. So I said, "I want something for my nephews." I was very close to my nephew when I was there, the oldest one, Rohan, and he would always say, "What do you want?" And I said, "Send me whatever," and he would not. So as always, before my sister comes in, a month before the planning starts, a huge list of what he wants, right? Sometimes it's computers, sometimes it's this. So one year he was still single. He sent me a list of perfumes, like 20 bottles of perfumes and this and that. So this time I said, you have only one job. You got to send me something that makes me happy. I don't want you to spend any money. Just make me smile. That's all I want. So he sent me that smiley face. And that was like 10, 15 years ago. And I still have it on the wall. I just love it. When I see it, it makes me happy, smile inside within me, not like show it to everybody. It's just like a Zen moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To pour in a smile. I like that. That's a great lesson. So Gita, you've done a lot of things. You got a lot of experience. Before we dive into the book, I like to find out, how'd you get into real estate in the first place? Or maybe how'd you become an entrepreneur? Which was first?
Entrepreneur. Of
So
course, I can never say that right.
Yeah, I can't spell it, so.
Well, it's a big, long story also in there. I was working at a manufacturing company full time. I got married, got pregnant, which was very exciting. Everything was going as planned. But I got into an accident. An attorney bumped me who was reading a newspaper while driving. We were stopped at a train track, and the track went up and I started slowly inching forward, and he did too, but he was reading a newspaper and he bumped into me. I was pregnant, and that was a big shock. Only a woman can experience that, because when you're pregnant, you can't take medications, you can't get this, you can't do this, just to be sure your baby is healthy. Well, I was in a very bad situation. I could not even sit for more than 10, 15 minutes at that time. Luckily, everything went well with my son. He's perfectly fine and healthy. He's 26 years now. This was like 26 years ago I'm talking about. And as years went along, I got to a position where I could sit for hour, 2 hours, and I decided I had to do something. I like doing things that I enjoy doing. And as I'm an accountant, got my college degree, and I was working in the same field, so it was easy. I was like, oh, let me start doing bookkeeping for somebody else. I started with $10 an hour job at that time. It was 20 years ago. And one client challenged me and saying, if you can do my bookkeeping in Quickbooks, why can't you teach me? I said, I've never taught anybody anything in life except my little one, right? Or friends, or learn on how to cook or something, follow a recipe, right? Well, anyway, he challenged me and he's saying, I'll pay you $25 an hour if you teach me. I'm like, oh my God, that was like $10 compared to $25, perfect. This was because I was ill. I had limitations of with my health, what I could do and what I could not do. And the worst part was it when I had my son. Uh, I could not lift him from the bed to my lap to even
Wow.
hold him, and that it was really bad. So anyway, fast forward, one thing led to another, and that's how I started being a businesswoman. I
Wow.
enjoyed it. And if somebody threw me a challenge, I would be right there. And that's what's motivate me. So how do I get into real estate, right? I had a client who was real estate, very big in real estate in our area. And he challenged me and he practically threatened me because I was doing everything part-time. I had a little son. I had limitations with my health. I didn't want to work full time. I wanted the flexibility. And he was one of my biggest client at that point. And he said, if you don't do this, 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 then I am going to fire you. I'm like, no, I need you to be there. And I was telling him, I said, you're the biggest client that I have at that point. So anyway, and that's how I got into real estate. And he educated me a little bit more and more. Every time he would come, he was only 5 minutes away from my office at that time. So he would walk over and we would sit and have a nice chat. And that's how I got into real estate investing as well.
So did he tell you to go buy some properties, or did he started you working in his firm in what he was doing?
No, so I was we were doing being a controller for him,
Got it.
doing offering him QuickBooks, bookkeeping, accounting, controller services for his business.
Excellent.
So when he would come, he would offload all his, good, bad, ugly, the best things and aggravating things, and just talking about workflow processes and procedures. How do I do this? I was doing this and one of my employees did this. What do I do? So I started just just talking to him, unconsciously advising him, not realizing I was really being an advisor to
Yep.
him, coaching him along the way.
Right.
So as his conversations went on, he said, why don't you do this? Let me help you because I'm going to be retiring in 5 years anyway. And he had way too many properties, real estate. I'm like, I'm not going to buy all those. There's no way. He's saying, no, I'm going to sell it in a bundle, in a package. I said, okay. So he got me motivated. And from there, I had to convince my husband. That was the other challenge I had, which is still today. I have to pull his teeth one time at
How do you convince your husband it's time to go buy something? Actually, how many buildings do you have right now? Are they apartments? Are they single families, condos? What do you have?
we have single families.
Yep.
We have a couple handfuls.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'll tell you how everything unfolded also.
Yeah.
So we have a couple single families. We manage it ourselves. We keep the rent a little bit low than the market value. And every month we send a small gift to the tenants. It may be even a $10 gift, doesn't matter. But it's just a little bit because we want them. So for one of the houses we have, our tenant was there for 12 years.
Yep.
The first one, the second one was there for 5 years. The third one, which we have right now, is for 3 years.
Wow.
No, it's 2 years. Sorry, this is second year. Hopefully he renews it. With this pandemic, we don't know what's going to happen, but hopefully everything will work. So one thing left to another.
Yeah. Wow. It's interesting how you shift. And so what do you do to keep your husband on board? So when you want to go buy another house, what do you do to keep him or to get him excited about doing it? Because I know a lot of people have this problem.
Well, I take the last approach. I talk to him very nicely. Hey, here's a property. I want to buy it. Right? Oh no, who's going to manage it? Who's going to do this? Then I'm like, okay. I said, we are cash flowing on this, or break even, right? And this times, of course, unless you buy a rehab house, you can cash flow really fast, or somebody, different situations. And he's saying, I'm not interested. So I would go and talk to my son. My son says, okay, get it. Push comes to shove, I can help you a little bit. You
Yeah.
know, getting the maintenance guy in, doing things around or whatever the situation is. I said, okay. And if my husband says no, like, fine, okay. I go in, make the deal, sign it up. And then when it's at the closing time, I tell we are going to go close on a property, everything is done, and he'll sign it. So
Yeah.
I said, like, I pull his teeth out, but he still has all of it.
So if he says no, he says yes. Either way, you're buying the piece of real estate.
If it's a good investment, definitely,
Yeah. So this is good advice for other ladies out there. For the men, do not do this. You have to get her on board. But for the ladies, I think that's great advice. If you know that you can close the deal, and just make sure he's there for the signing if he has to be.
Yeah.
Do yourself, that's fine too.
That's
Darina, she
true.
doesn't need me for any closings. She's been buying houses without me for so long that it's she's used to it.
Oh,
So
well, I'll have to talk to her and find out
Yeah.
some tricks on that.
absolutely, she does her thing. I do my thing. Every so often we talk to each other. I'm like, hey, I'm thinking about buying this.
Right?
So Gita, you wrote a book. What is the name of the book, and how can people find it?
Oh my God. So all my books are on my profession, accounting and bookkeeping. So I have authored, again, like I said, when the big client I was talking to about, Robert, his name is, he challenged me to go to an association. That was another of one of his things, that if I didn't, he would drop me. It was a DIG, Diversified Investors Group Real Estate. They are national RIA's chapters.
Yep.
And the meeting was 1 hour, and it was in the evening. So I'm like, I don't want to go, saying you have to go. I went there. Everybody was attracted because they knew what I offered. And they said, well, we want a course. So my first course was 50 pages. How to use QuickBooks for real estate investments for landlords.
Wow.
Right. And now it's approximately 600 pages, depending on which one. So it's all about bookkeeping and accounting, and getting ready, not for tax time. Yes, for tax time also, but knowing where your money is.
Yeah.
Right. Each and every penny, because some of the money you guys spend, we all spend, I should say.
Yeah.
You don't see it. It does not exchange hands. That's what I'm saying. Right.
True.
And that money that does not exchange hands needs to be accounted for as well, to get the true cost basis.
Yeah. I like that. So I took it, when I was in college, I was in accounting. So accounting is like my background. And,
Right.
I'm a real estate investor, been doing this for 7 years. And we just hired a bookkeeper finally because I'm tired of doing it. I'm just tired of doing
Love
it.
it.
So Gita, it's great that you wrote the book. What's the name of the book?
Oh my God. I have approximately 20 courses.
Wow.
All segmented within the real estate industry. We have a course, we have 2 segmentations. Let's start with that. One is for QuickBooks Online software, and the other one is for QuickBooks Desktop software.
Oh, wow.
So both of them have the same courses. So we'll start with, it's not exactly a name I can give you because I can't list all, but I'll segment it so it makes some sense. Then the segmentation goes in whether you're a property manager or an investor or a professional.
Got it.
So we'll take the professionals. The professionals are brokers and agents.
Yep.
And, you could say wholesalers are also professionals.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And that category.
It's questionable whether they're all professionals, but.
True. But I put them in that category because
I agree with you. You're right.
That's me categorizing them because it's the best way for us to go forward, because they are neither investors or managers, right? Then for the investors and the property managers, we have real estate segmentations now. So we have a course for commercial properties, commercial rentals, residential rentals, short-term rentals, that is vacations
Yep.
rentals as well. Then we have the flipping industry in there. Let's say condos and homeowners. That's a total different accounting system for that. Not for condos, individual condos you buy, but for the association as a whole, right?
Yep.
The condo and let's see. Yeah, so that's what we
Wow.
have for both of them. And then we have so many others that are not listed out
Right.
for the industry to find it. So if we get a client, our situation is we'll talk to them on the phone. Just we don't ask them to fill out a big form like many of them do, because it's too much for us to go through it and too much for you, I think, because we know the industry, we have a niche in real estate, and it makes it easy. A 10-minute talk, we know where you stand, what you're doing.
Yep.
And then we just need to know who you are, right? Where we can find you, so we know you're legit, right?
Right.
Well,
So, Gita, if somebody wanted to learn more about you or get in touch with you and do one of those phone calls, what's the easiest way to get your contact information, I guess?
oh, yes. So you can go to realestateaccounting.com.
Ooh,
And yeah.
that's a great URL.
I know. And we do have other websites, also main websites, but those are the courses website we have. And we do consulting as well. And my phone number is 215-579-1465. You can reach me anytime. Of course, Eastern Standard Time.
So, Gita, before we head off the podcast, I always end with one question. And that question is, if you could go back to your 20-year-old self and give yourself 3 pieces of advice, what 3 pieces of advice would get you to where you are faster and happier?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked me that. Nobody has asked me that yet. But if you start with something and you love, and this is from my personal experience, and that runs in my business. I started with bookkeeping. I should have stuck with bookkeeping and expanded that aspect of the business to the fullest, as well as adding additional services as we do. Right? So each segmentation of our business, we should have just expanded it to the fullest and created those departments in within as well. So if you're starting with something and you really love it, and if somebody comes your way and challenges you or says, oh, this is a great opportunity, don't let that first one go. Hire, outsource, and build. Or insource in-house, delegate, in short, right? And that's what I miss. That's why we do so many things than just what I mentioned what we do. We also sell QuickBooks softwares. And, we are a QuickBooks solution provider. There are only 240 in the whole US. And we are from Intuit, the elite group, you could call it. And we sell softwares at cost. Nice. So, with QuickBooks Online, for example, you get 50% off the first year. You cannot beat that, So things like that. So we expanded, but we didn't stick with one and expanded further. We stuck with that aspect of the service we enjoyed doing, but we didn't expand it to the fullest.
Right.
So stay with what you love, add on more, but make sure you delegate or you outsource what you really is your first love.
Excellent. I like that. That is a powerful piece of advice. What other 2 would you put out there?
Oh, my 2. Yeah. Build those relationships. Even though people are saying build relationships and network, it's learning how to go deep into it and learning how to build it and maintain it is one thing. Because coming from a different country, our sports are different. The way we eat is different. The movies and everything, actresses, everything we did was different. Even though we are all human beings, we can talk about our body and health and everything. It's going to be the same. But when I came here, they all talk about movies. I could not fit in because I had no clue about those actresses, and you can't learn overnight. They talked about when they were young, they did this, they played this sports. We didn't play that sport, right? We played totally different sports in there. Um, of course, we did swimming. I get that. We can talk about it, but you guys talk about baseball and football and all that. But we knew more about cricket at that point and badminton, right? So it is different. So that I think somebody should have a class on how to relate one to one or in a group. If you know somebody still, I can always use that help, right?
Yeah.
Let's
How
say,
to Win Friends and Influence People, right? Dale Carnegie.
yeah, that's right. That's right. But it still takes
Practice.
dedication,
Yeah.
and you have to keep on it. You can't skip a day and say, well, I don't want to build that relation. I don't want to maintain that relationship because you got busy in your daily work or building your wealth, right? So you need to kind of stay on top of it. And you do need a nudge from somebody else. So getting a mentor and coach is so important. Yeah.
I like that. That's a good third one. Gita, thank you so much.
You're
One more
welcome.
time, the website that people can contact you at is real estate accountants
Accounting.
accounting.com,
Yes.
realestateaccounting.com. Gita Faust, very amazing. You've done a lot. You've created a lot. You've helped a lot of investors, and it sounds like you're staying in the business. You want to keep helping, want to keep adding value, and expanding, going deeper in those
Yes.
niches.
That's true. That's true. Yes, we do. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you having us and letting me share my ups and downs with investors to hope to inspire and motivate them as well.
Thank you, Gita. We
You're
appreciate
welcome.
you. Have the mindset of abundance. You are an alchemist. You're helping more people. And for everybody who's listening, if you can go to iTunes and look up Alchemist Nation, write a great review for us. It allows more people to get access to the podcast and allows us to go out and promote and get bigger and better guests like Gita and some other people on here so that they can be excited about getting your ear and being able to deliver some more information to you. So Gita, thank you so much for hanging out with us. And for
Thank
you
you.
at home, cheers to your success. When you have a choice, always work with the best.